Book of Heaven, Volume 4, by the Servant of God Luisa Piccarreta, Little Daughter of the Divine Will. Year 1900, page 26–30. October 17, 1900. A suffering soul and a most humble prayer make Jesus lose all his strength, and render him so weak as to let himself be bound by that soul. The appearance of justice. As my adorable Jesus continued to come, I seemed to see him in such great suffering as to arouse compassion. Throwing himself into my arms, he said to me, "My daughter, break the fury of my justice, otherwise." At that moment, I seemed to see divine justice, armed with swords, with darts of fire, such as to strike terror, and also the fortitude with which she can act. All frightened, I said, "How can I break your fury if I see you so strong as to be able to annihilate heaven and earth in one simple instant?" And he, "Yet, a suffering soul and a most humble prayer make me lose all my strength, and render me so weak as to let myself be bound by that soul as she pleases." And I, "Ah, Lord, in what an ugly appearance is justice showing herself." And Jesus added, "She is not ugly. If you see her armed like this, it is because of men, but in herself she is good and holy, like my other attributes, because there cannot be even a shadow of evil in me. It is true that her appearance seems harsh, piercing, bitter, but her fruits are sweet and delicious." Having said this, he disappeared. October 20, 1900. Just as justice wants satisfaction for what is unjust, so does love want the outpouring of its loving and being loved. This morning, on coming, my adorable Jesus made me see his attributes, and he said to me, "My daughter, all of my attributes are in continuous attitude for men, and all of them demand their tribute." Then he added, "Just as justice wants satisfaction for what is unjust, so does my love want the outpouring of its loving and being loved. You, place yourself inside justice, and pray, repair, and when you receive some blow, have the patience to bear it. Then move into my love, and give me the outpouring of love, otherwise I would remain defrauded in love. As for example, this time I feel all the necessity to pour out my constrained love, and if I were not allowed to do it, I would languish and faint." As he was saying this, he began to kiss me, caress me and make me so many tendernesses of love, that I have no words to manifest them, and he wanted me to requite him, saying, "Just as I feel the need to pour myself out with you in love, so do you have the need to pour yourself out in love for me. Isn't it true?" After we poured ourselves out in love with each other, he disappeared. October 22, 1900. Doubts of Luisa about the things that happened to her. She wants to know whether they are from God or from the devil. Obedience does not have human reason. Her reason is divine. This morning I was all oppressed and with a fear that it might not be blessed Jesus who operates in me, but the devil, but in spite of this I could not refrain from looking for him and desiring him. However, as soon as he deigned to come, he told me, "What is it that gives one the assurance that the sun is rising, if not the light which puts to flight the darkness of the night, and the heat which spreads within that light? If anyone said that the sun is risen, but in spite of this the darkness of the night appeared even thicker and no heat could be felt, what would you say? That it was not a true sun that rose, but a false one, because the effects of the sun cannot be seen. Now, if the sight of me dispels darkness from you, and shows you the light of the truth, making you feel the heat of my grace, why do you want to rack your brains that I am not the one who operates in you?" I had, because so obedience wants, that the other day I was thinking, if the many chastisements about which I wrote in these books should really occur, who would have the heart to be spectator of them? And the blessed Lord made me understand with clarity that some of them will occur while I am still on this earth, some after my death, and some will be spared in part. So I was a little relieved thinking that I will not have to see them all. So, here is Lady Obedience made satisfied now, after she had begun to frown at me, and to send out laments and reprimands. It seems that this blessed young lady in no way wants to adapt herself to the human reason. She does not want to get involved in any circumstance. On the contrary, it seems that she has no reason at all, and it is quite a pain in the neck having to deal with someone who does not have reason. In order to get along a little, it is necessary to lose one's own reason, because the young lady keeps boasting, "I have no human reason, therefore I do not know how to adapt myself to the human way. My reason is divine, and for one who wants to live in peace with me, it is absolutely necessary that she lose hers in order to acquire mine." This is how well this young lady reasons. What can one say? It is better to keep silent, because, in one way or another, she always wants to be right, and she glories in giving you all the wrong. October 23, 1900. True love never remains alone. This morning, after I received communion, my adorable Jesus made me see the confessor who was placing the intention of having me suffer the crucifixion. I felt my poor nature as reluctant, not because I did not want to suffer, but for other reasons which it is not necessary to describe here. But Jesus, as though lamenting about me, said to Father, "She does not want to submit herself." I was moved at his lament. Father renewed the command, and I submitted myself. After I suffered a little, since I saw Father present, the Lord said, "My beloved, here is the symbol of the sacrosanct Trinity. Myself, Father, and you. From eternity my love has never been alone, but always united in perfect and reciprocal union with the divine persons, because true love never remains alone, but produces other loves, and delights in being loved back by the loves which it itself has produced. And if it is alone, either it is not of the nature of divine love, or it is only apparent. If you knew how much I delight in, and enjoy, being able to continue that love in the creatures which reigned from eternity, and reigns still now, in the most holy Trinity. This is also why I say to you that I want the consensus of the intention of the confessor united with me, to be able to continue this love more perfectly, symbolic of the sacrosanct Trinity. October 29, 1900. The most essential and necessary thing in a soul is charity. After going through a few days of privation and of silence, this morning, as blessed Jesus came, I said, "It shows that my state is no longer your will." And he, "Yes, yes, rise and come into my arms." At these words, I forgot about the painful state of the past days and I ran into his arms, and since I could see his side open, I said, "My beloved, you have not admitted me to suckle from your side for some time. I pray you to admit me today. And Jesus, my beloved, please drink as much as you like, and satiate yourself." Who can say my contentment, and with what avidity I placed my mouth to drink at that divine fount? After I drank to my fill, to the point of having no more room to contain even just one more drop, I detached myself, and Jesus told me, "Have you satiated yourself? If you haven't, feel free to keep drinking." And I, satiated, no, because the more one drinks at this fount, the more one's thirst increases. But since I am very limited, I am incapable of containing more. After this, I saw other people with Jesus, and he said, "The most essential and necessary thing in a soul is charity. If there is no charity, it happens as to those families or kingdoms which have no rulers. Everything is upset, the most beautiful things remain obscured, one can see no harmony. Some want to do one thing, some another. The same happens in the soul in which charity does not reign. Everything is in disorder, the most beautiful virtues do not harmonize among themselves. This is why charity is called queen, because she has regime and order, and she disposes everything.